Hi, folks. This is MADMAN coming to you from parts unknown. How is everyone tonight? Boy, I tell you what, it's a good thing I take a break sometimes. And a good thing I didn't read the comments from the last few broadcasts. I've been too busy. I'll tell you why that's a good thing in a minute. But anyway, how's everybody? Let's see. Miss Minnesue, how you doing? Susie D. Lori, nice to see you all. I was counseled, I guess, in the comments not to give out so much shout outs when I'm doing a live broadcast. So, or I don't know, maybe I was giving shout outs to people who supported the channel through Buy Me a Coffee. So I shouldn't do that, according to somebody. But so that's going to make me shout out even more because that's the way we roll. Hi, Susie D. How you doing? Lori, nice to see you. Jason, shout out to everybody. Red, Andrew, Redhausen, nice to see you. Sherry, Melinda, Mike 1176, Mary Freeland, Melvita, Mr. G. Jang Estic, I can't pronounce that. Dejanasic. Yeah, I think I got that right. Georgia, nice to see you. Anyway, yeah, I was kind of in a little dark mood today when I was thinking about all the stuff they're pulling, and I go on the YouTube and I watch some of these characters, especially ones who either have a law degree or purport to have a law degree, or they, I don't know, they should be made to put up where they're licensed at, or what, yes or no. Are you licensed or are you not licensed with this legal advice and opinion you're putting out? I always say that I'm a layman, and in my opinion, but anyway, we'll get to that. I think that's got to be addressed. That's got to be cleaned out along with the rest of the American Bar Association. Needs an enema. So Dr. Trump's on the way, snapping on the rubber gloves, okay? Let's see, who else is coming in? I got to do my shout-outs. Tell me I can't do a shout-out. What, that really burns. And he got 3 thumbs up, too. I might go find, I think I can find out who gives thumbs up and just block them all. There's thousands of channels people can go to on YouTube. If you don't like shout-outs, go somewhere else. And the other thing, I don't like the term intel, okay? I give information. So watch my earlier broadcasts. Henri, how are you doing? B-Dog, how are you? Sassy Cat, nice to see you. Awaken Trillium, William, Wanda. Hi, Nikki, how are you? Yeah. It's time to take them political people to the train station and Trump train. A lot of them getting on the Trump train. Trump is rising big time. People are waking up. They're all smelling the coffee and go, what in the world have I been missing all this time? So stupid. Is what a lot of them are saying, smacking themselves on the forehead. Hi, Ken. How are you doing? So, I got a notification from somebody. Oh, somebody from Truth Social. Well, Mr. T put out, I said, if you all want to watch, day before yesterday, I said he's going to be putting out little 1 or 2 minute videos. Y'all want to go over and watch what he's got to say. Sure enough, 31 posts. I mean, I said he put a Trump's truth storm out last time. This time he really put it out. And he's laying it out there. I mean, if you just take them one at a time and listen to them, even if it's subjects that he's talked about a dozen times at rallies, listen to what he's saying in the new videos, because he's using very certain terms. He's not leaving any ambiguity. Joe Biden has lost his mind. Okay, he's dangerous. He's a nut. not only is he incompetent like he always has been, but he's fell off the cliff mentally. He's dangerous. Okay. So, yeah, he's not playing games anymore. When he said the gloves were off a couple of weeks ago, you're starting to see what that means. And hi, Amy, how you doing? Marla, nice to see you. Karen says, Dr. Steve Turley posted Tucker talking about Trump's ASSINA. Yeah, might be coming next on YT. That's right. That's being openly talked about. And I'm glad to see some of the channels that many of his have been watching over the years. You know which ones. X and the other numbers are 22. They're talking about a post, and then another channel, LT, they're talking about a post that I talked about a month ago. I said to key in, put in the words, what happens? Remember that, folks? And what happens? And I said how many posts there were out of 5,000 posts. I gave a couple of keywords and went over some very specific posts. And the one says, what happens, hasn't the verbiage in there. What happens to the DOJ? What happens to the FBI? What happens to the CIA? But before that, it says, if communications, texts, or whatever are leaked, that details discussions about harming or ASSA, you know the rest, the president or any of his family members. So I'm glad to see these big channels with a couple 100,000 views and people following them and everything, that they're catching up with Mountain Man a month later. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So I'm going to do what I do and shout out whoever I want to shout out to. Hi, Joy. How are you? So anyway, to people that are new coming on board, before you get too far into, I appreciate comments after the videos. I appreciate them. But you might want to get to know me a little bit by watching my previous videos. Okay, the way I think, my attitude towards certain things. And I am not doing these broadcasts for somebody else's, comfort or listening pleasure. Okay, I'm doing it to put out information and talk with people of a similar mindset, so we can talk to people who don't understand what's going on and want to know what's going on and how we can sound like rational human beings explaining what's going on. And so this is the opposite of what the comedian used to say. He'd say, it's a big club and you and I ain't in it. Well, this is a small club, okay? And if you want to be in it, fine. If you don't want to be in it, that's fine too. Have a sip of coffee, Marla. How can you tell my voice is dry, Marla? I'll cut my mic off and have a sip of coffee. Ha ha ha. Thank you. That was good. That made me feel better. Thank you, Marla. The scoop on that teacher, Nikki, you talking about the one that didn't know what a Gadsden flag was? Pappy Two Bears, how are you doing? Shout out. Are you talking about the dopey one that did not know what a Gadsden flag is? Look, the number of teachers that are dopey are off the charts. Okay, they're not really evil. They're neurotic, dopey people. They don't know up from down, right from wrong. Now there are ones that are evil, the ones who would say, hey, bring in a rainbow flag. Hey, bring in a BLM flag. Oh, a Gadsden flag. But just the dopey ones, you could tell she was stressed out. Turkey Hills ice cream. Ha, ha, ha. That's good stuff. Good stuff. It's better than that other what do they call it? Ben a Ferry or whatever it is. Ben the Ferry. I don't ever give them 1 penny. I'm tired of things that relate to somebody's bedroom preferences. Anything that relates to it. I don't care. It's not supposed to be part of the public discourse. It's not supposed to be introduced into schools, okay? Whether it's a rainbow flag, a purple hairdo, a button, or whatever it is referencing S3 actual stuff, and I don't have any patience for that stuff anymore. So that's the way it's going to have to be in our schools. So anybody that puts out a signal or symbol about their bedroom preferences, that's inappropriate, and you have no business in a position of public trust or near children, period. Discussing your bedroom preferences. That's the way to put it, folks, and get rid of all this stuff. You want to dress up like a circus freak? Join the circus, or if you want to dress up like somebody walking the streets, go walk the streets, but don't apply for a job teaching school. So that's the way we got to do it. Quit feeling sorry for these people, or quit being afraid of these people. That's what a lot of it is too. Being afraid of them. And the way this lawfare has been conducted, people suing people because they got misgendered, and you got to go to go to court and hire an attorney because some obese, bearded blob in a dress, walk around with hairy legs, says you misgendered them. And you didn't want them going in front of your 6-year-old kid in the bathroom, your 6-year-old daughter, so that's the kind of stuff we got to crack down on and put an absolute stop to. But we're getting there. We're getting there. We've got to have the leadership in place to do that. Christopher Hunt, how you doing? Kepperman, let's see. A bearded ma'am. Yeah, that's right. No more of that stuff. And so they say, well, we'll let each state take care of it. Well, yeah, you're going to have places like California. We gotta put some broad guidelines out that because the people that, like in a female prison, they wrote bad checks or they embezzled money or whatever, and the next thing you know, they're looking at a 6'4" career criminal who is claiming they're a female. That is not fair. That is a deprivation to the right of safety. Okay, for people in a position where, hey, they did some crime, and whatever they did, they should be subjected to that kind of danger. And people in females and female sports, going out there and getting their skulls cracked by grown men. We're going to flip that lawfare around and sue these people that are allowing this thing, encouraging this stuff, inciting this stuff. We got to flip it around. Hi, Karen. How are you doing? We got to flip the lawfare around, and it's getting there because It's not specious and novel legal theories, okay? It is not a novel legal theory that you put a grown man into a restroom where 10, 11, 12-year-old girls go, that's not inherently dangerous. The potentiality for danger is very high. That's not a novel thought. We've only thought that way for the past 5,000 years of recorded history or more. Oh, Wanda, I'm sorry to hear that. Hi, Cheryl. How are you doing? Yeah, I did read that about the one who tried to mail rice into Mr. T. Got 20 years. 20 years enjoying. Hi, DeCat. How are you doing? Kicking Bird. How are you doing? So anyway, a lot of these headlines, I was going to say it's funny how it's not funny, but it is strange how some of these headlines go. But you know, just before I started to get preparing my live broadcast, Newsmax put out a little bulletin. I think it was, I might have seen that on Diamond and Silk. Scientists at a Pentagon medical intelligence unit wrote a research report that evidence indicates that the certain thing that makes you feel bad, okay, may have been developed in a laboratory, according to reports. So stuff is starting to come out, and they're not going to be able to stop it. It's going to be more and more. That's a Pentagon intelligence unit report. How are they going to argue about that? Okay, Dr. Ouchie, you play games with back and forth with Rand Paul. You can, bar your teeth at him and be nasty at Rand Paul, but you ain't going to get away with that when it comes to the U.S. military. Okay, buddy? We'll see how it all works out for you. That's what I put from that young lady who had the headscarf on, that I played her video, and she was talking to Fanny, okay? She said, you're not going to get away with this. You're not. And the more I thought about it, that's what made me do my thumbnail. You're not going to get away with any of this. No one walks away. Nobody walks away. And that's for any of what? Any of all of this crapola that you are pulling now or have been pulling. So I'm just relieved to a large degree that so many people are coming around. You keep seeing the Instagram posts, the TikTok posts. People are getting more outspoken, more brave about it. And people have been cowed into silence or indifference because they don't, and part of the indifference is they don't realize the harm. They think, if they feel that, that they're born a different way and they really want to explore who they are. Yeah, but then they start realizing that this is being pushed on people who are too young, and the kind of damage. I kept hearing from different people, sometimes even friends of mine. Vivek was a member of the whatever young economic new world BS and all this kind of stuff. So, okay, that means Vivek is a bad guy. Use a moment. I'm talking to the people who are thinking that way about Vivek. Take a moment. And what has he been doing? People putting out memes. Here's how Vivek handled the Republicans at the debate. Here's how, I just got a text, hold on. Anyway, it's a picture of the guy at the 7-Eleven whacking the heck out of somebody with a stick when they were robbing the store. Okay, that's how Vivek was handling the rhinos at the debate. Think about what he is doing. So he was 19, 20, 22 or whatever, and got schmoozed into going to this young person's economic forum that Klaus Schwab threw. Well, so what? He obviously is not down with that stuff. He's called out Obama. He's made fun of Chris Christie for hugging Obama. He's made fun of Obama's speech. I'm a skinny brown kid with a weird name, haha. And then Chris Christie said something smart back, or tried to say something smart back, and Vivek said, well, why don't you give me a big hug like you did Barack? Come on. I mean, he made fools of them. So take a look at what Vivek is doing. And of course, he's not going to put a dent in Trump's popularity or chances. But what he is going to do is expose the rhinos, okay, and spank them in front of everybody. And so what do you see? What do you see as a reward for that? Mr. T said, I think he's a smart guy. And there may be a place for him in my administration. So, yeah. I'm not worried. Or are some of these real hardcore conspiracy cuckoos gonna say that, oh, Donald Trump's part of the deep state? Because if somebody's got that mindset, just go off somewhere and be completely freaking miserable and crazy, okay? You don't have a home here, okay? So that I don't know. I just got started this evening, kind of bristled up, and I'm still a little bristled up because I hate when people waste their precious time with thinking of every cuckoo thing that comes out of the bushes. So, hi, Greg. How are you doing? Mr. Kibler. Love to garden. You don't trust him? Well, he's tell me one thing Vivek has done to help Klaus Schwab and the deep state. Okay. They're exposing Barack Obama. That's one of the many operations that are coming out. And like I said, you think our intelligence services are too stupid to not get infiltration into their organizations to know what they're up to? Okay, so anybody who signed up as a young person to go to the World Economic Forum, we all got to be suspicious of them, even when they come back and kick ASS, okay, and support Trump to the T. And then he gave interviews to young people who were detransitioning, and he was saying, you all need to get the word out to like-minded kids and warn other children not to be involved in this. What more do you want the person to do? And how would you ever convince? I'm not going to even go any farther with that. So, you know, my mom used to collect cuckoo clocks. I'm going to dig one out and hang it on the wall. and set it to where it goes off every 15 minutes. Just to remind you all, you can't, Lori says, I don't trust him. He badmouth Trump in the Cumberland. Well, I don't know what interviews you've been watching. Vivek isn't going anywhere unless Trump lets him. I mean, he's got 9% of the Republican vote. What he did was he disrupted that Republican debate, and he exposed all the tired old blowhards like Chris Christie. And if Mitt Romney had been on that stage, okay, or Jeb Bush, he would have made mincemeat out of them. Little young Vivek, and that was his job, to expose the old guard Republican Party as part of the Uniparty. And that's exactly what he did. And I'd like to see one bad thing he said about Trump. I've said at times Trump was a blowhard. Okay. And then I said, who do you want to run this country? A blowhard or somebody like Mr. Rogers? Who do you think is going to deal better with Kim Jong-un or Putin? A blowhard or Mr. Rogers? Does that mean I'm a part of the deep state? I don't know if some of Trump's kids attended the WEF. But, if anybody's that's right, Georgia, Vivek's part of the plan. So we're going to have this World Economic Forum actually recruiting real morons to operate in our government, which they have done. And we're not going to be able to infiltrate them or have a desire to infiltrate them. Would we? Do you think our intelligence services are that stupid and ineffective? Oh, don't send anybody to that forum. They're bad people. Don't put any of our people in there to find out what they're doing or who they are or what their processes are. I mean, give me a break. I might have come up too early. I might have had to take another night off. I'm getting myself bristled up. Well, I hear y'all. I hear what a lot of you are saying, but this is a triumph. Where we're at is a triumph that we never thought we'd see 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we never thought we'd see these people waking up like they are all around the world. And every time with some people, every time some great piece of news comes down, somebody pops up and says, I think there's a lizards in tunnels, something to make you so suck away all your joy as to the progress you've made, but they're not sucking away my joy with the crazy talk, because I've said there are black hats that put that stuff out there, and there are people who lap it up and spit it back out. And for years, over a year and a half, I've been on this program warning people not to do that. I like Vivek. I think he's smart. I think he's a firecracker. I think he went up there as young as he is, and his experience in politics compared to some of the people he was on stage against, I think he was genius. And I think he made them look like idiots. And that was his job. And then him talking about Barack Obama, well, guess what else is coming out? Besides him having sugar in his gas tank that we knew about. Okay, but 90% of his supporters did not know he had sugar in his gas tank, and that his wife they were not married under current law in the United States, because there was no same-sex marriage when they ran the first time and the second time as husband and wife, a fraud on the people. That's going to come out. Along with him admitting he smoked crack in his book he wrote, and the news media didn't report on it. Him admitting, him talking about how delicious bugs were. He was eating crickets and how good they tasted. This was years before a lot of people got onto the sickening notion and reality of this World Economic Forum trying to sneak bugs in our food and destroy the beef industry. So now, yeah, it's not that far-fetched for people to start looking at what happened in Hawaii, not just us old-time, what they used to call, quote, conspiracy theorists, not just us, but a growing part of the population that have realized they've been lied to about Trump, that Trump is being persecuted because they're scared of him. They're starting to look at Hawaii and say, wait a minute. Why did they redo all that zoning, and why did they institute a new planning commission rules? And why did the planning commission approve a bunch of crazy nonsense about 15-minute cities? And then all of a sudden you see something we've never seen before. When have you ever seen what happened in Maui? Ever? And then they put up, what are they calling it? A black wall around the whole thing so people can't see what's going on inside. They're taking down drones that people fly over and arresting people that try to fly drones. They've arresting people and seizing their boats when people were trying to bring relief or look for casualties. So, yeah, 10 years ago, they'd have been getting away with this. They wouldn't have gotten this far. So more and more people are rightfully becoming suspicious of their government. And the more people that speak out against a lot of the things we were talking about, the more others will have the courage. It will snowball. After that mugshot, it was I was walking on 3 feet off the ground. I was the way the response was. And even Trump called it or reposted a article that said the mug, in parentheses, shot heard around the world. So we all equate that with the post that said shot heard around the world. But I said, well, no, that's more like the mug shot seen around the world, not heard around the world. But because after Tucker started point blank, and that's probably a bad choice of words, but when he came out and started talking about what he felt and was afraid of would be the next move, and you have Dan Bongino bringing that up also, and Bernard Carrick, if you all will remember, mentioned that about 3 weeks or a month ago. So you've got some very knowledgeable people, Bernard Carrick, chief of police in New York, and Dan Bongino, Secret Service. You got Tucker Carlson's father was a CIA agent. You got a lot of people with a lot of background and knowledge, all talking about something that is horrible to think about, what they want to do to Mr. T. So that takes me back to, no, I don't think the mugshot was a shot is going to be the shot heard around the world. I'm afraid, and I hope I'm wrong, that it may be related to what Tucker Carlson is talking about. Because, I don't want to be a doom and gloomer, folks. I may have been a little too bristled up earlier in the broadcast because I I don't like doom and gloom speak. But a lot of people have pointed out The Simpsons, right? How they pointed out where the basketball player died in a helicopter crash, all the crazy things we've seen on The Simpsons. Even Trump going up the escalator was way before Trump ever went up the escalator. How did The Simpsons know, right? Am I wrong about that, folks? Haven't we been watching that? So what is one of the things that The Simpsons had a cartoon of? I'll give you all a chance to guess. What's one thing The Simpsons had a cartoon about that we haven't seen? I know it's a delay, so I'll give you guys a chance. I'm trying to say, hi, Dottie, how are you? I'm giving everybody shout outs. Mary, how are you doing? Hi, Larry. Outlandish. Yeah, they're trying to get Vivek to expose the rhinos. Do you know they had half the viewership? They had 12 point something 12.1 million viewers for their debate. That was almost half the viewers. For Trump back in 2015, he had almost double. Trump's first debate had more than almost double what the Republicans had this time around. People are losing interest in them. They're being exposed to the same old crap. Lone Wolf, that's, yeah. How do they show that? It's DEA4TH. DEA4TH. And Angel got it, T in a coffin. Right. They had the cartoon of him in a coffin, and it's probably still see it on YouTube. So that's what I'm, am worried about. Plus, there was some a leak that Trump was saying around some of his aides after J6 and after the court filings that never got heard, that he said something to the effect of, yeah, it's too late for us this go around. We'll have to leave it for the next guy. Did you all hear that report? What did he mean by the next guy? So, I mean, these are things that I heard from Newsmax, not crazy liberal broadcasts about we'll have to leave it for next guy. And the Simpsons cartoon I've seen myself. And out of Tucker Carlson, Dan Bongino, and Bern Carrick, out of their own mouths, what they're talking about. Dottie heard it. Yeah, we'll have to save that for the next guy. And I'm like, what do you mean next guy? Because nobody really knows what the plan is. And he could have thrown that out there for, maybe somebody he didn't trust in the circle of staff members he had around. Maybe that's it. They're going to keep the opposition, and that's the thing for when people focus on what they think is little clues and signs and stuff like this, and drive themselves to distraction. Just remember, we're not supposed to figure it out, and that means you're not gonna figure it out. I mean, the day comes when a YouTuber like me could ever deduce the plan from dividing dates and adding post numbers and where the moon's position or whatever. When that day comes, we don't have a good intelligence service. We're never going to figure it out. So don't drive yourself to distraction about it. That's why I go with the plump and plain meaning of words. Unless there's an obvious hint, I can see the direction Trump is taking us. He's not trying to take us. He is taking us. And in our wake, we're pulling a lot of people along that's going to grow and grow. And they're going to start liking the ride. You can see it because when people feel like they're on the correct side, it gives them a sense of strength, personal strength, pride, okay? Energy. You can see it in people when they start going, man, this Biden thing is crazy. I'm for Trump now. And in the past, they were like, every news agency is, and I kind of feel like I do, but everybody's going to get mad at me. I don't want nobody mad at me, so I'll just be quiet. Well, when when they get their psyche to the point where they say, the hell with what other people think, I feel good about what I'm saying. I am on the side of right, and right does create might. Okay? Let's see. Lone Wolf said, well, then too many people are thinking that T-Man cough can be brought into reality. In other words, our thoughts can manifest that. The cat says, Federal Marshals GBI. Hourly checks drive up and gone 4 days ago. Well, they said somebody else got, there was a KNIFE situation at Georgia prison, and somebody expired from that, bringing the total number this month, in the month of August, in that prison to 4. Remember when I played the video of that nasty news reporter that was laughing about Mr. T going to the prison? I played her, and she was going, that's a filthy place he's going to have to surrender to. They've had 3 fatalities in a month. Yeah, well, now it's 4. And they did give that guy bail money, that black guy. Because, man, that went over like a lead balloon, keeping him in jail. Let's see. Mary said, we may never see Melania in the role of First Lady again. Well, I hope she does. She is First Lady again. I don't know. I should not put my mind, tie it into The Simpsons, but you can't help but think about it, because all the things they've gotten right that nobody saw coming. And I don't know. It's against my normal instinct, so that's why I don't dwell on it. I've been thinking about that for a long time, but I've never brought it up to my viewers because, I don't know. Oh, really? Wanda said that guy that just died filed a civil lawsuit. Whew. Well, man, I tell you, that is a corrupt system there to the core, and there's so many people being activated now. We got activated. We've got General Flynn's coming out, and he's saying metaphorically, you're looking at, and he's talking about himself, a guy who knows where all the bodies are buried. He's starting to be activated. And I said before, out of the blue, you hadn't heard nothing out of Newt Gingrich for a long time, over a year, nothing of any substance. but all of a sudden he's posting all the time. And I said Newt Gingrich used to run Georgia. He was Speaker of the House way before Nancy Pelosi. And he's got a lot of political influence still to this day in Georgia. And he is starting to make noise, and come out. Then you got Rudy Giuliani. They said, oh, gosh, the judge entered a big default judgment against Rudy Giuliani. That's terrible for Rudy Giuliani. Well, isn't that something about that last week? All the baddies in the news services were making fun of how broke Rudy Giuliani was, remember? Now they're saying, oh, Rudy Giuliani's got to pay all these six-figure lawyers' fees and all this kind of junk because the judge gave a default judgment. And they said the judge gave a 50-page opinion against Rudy Giuliani on something that would normally be 5 pages. And they said that 50-page opinion, I can't wait till Robert Gavoya gives us an analysis of that. I put Robert Gavoya up a number of times. I encourage you all to watch some of his stuff. It was more of a diatribe than an opinion. An opinion is usually about 5 pages long, is what I've heard. 5 or 6 pages, a default judgment, and that's it. This, in my opinion, lunatic, TDS suffering so-called judge put out a 50-page diatribe against Rudy Giuliani. And I don't see Rudy sweating it, okay? There's something going on there. Because I think all that stuff is going to end up in the trash pail. I'm just checking the chat, see what's going on. Whoa. Barron looks just like Diana. Yeah, he's got a kind of an interesting his complexion is, kind of like her. She had some freckles and high cheekbones, didn't she? Well, thank you, Nikki. She put a link in there. This is a viewer-supported and creator-supported channel only. I don't get any. I'm not monetized by YouTube. I don't accept any payments, so I can do what I want to do when I want to do it. I got a link for Buy Me a Coffee in the description if anybody wants to help the channel out. It's greatly appreciated. And I want to give a shout out to Kristen, who woke up to the world yesterday, and the night before she was kind enough to kick into Buy Me a Coffee. So give a shout out to Kirsten and everybody else that's helping me with Buy Me a Coffee. Just seeing what's going on. I scold people about going down rabbit holes, and then I started talking about The Simpsons. So I'm trying not to be duplicitous, but it just gives me the creeps when you think about that comic. What is it? A cartoon. How long ago was that? They had Trump in a coffin. It was way before he became president, wasn't it? It was like 10 years ago. And now all this stuff going on with Tucker talking about, and then you got on Newsmax, they said these recordings, I don't know if they're voice recordings or if they're videos of Biden. They say it's going to be released after Labor Day, but before Halloween. Now, that's putting some pretty hard boundaries on a timeline. They're saying when these recordings come out, or videos, it is going to be so damaging that Biden would be lucky to remain president, but he will not be able to run for re-election. And I know you all have heard that too. So what could that pertain to? I mean, it's all been laid out to me anyway about Ukraine, because Rudy Giuliani 2 years ago said, I have the banking records. I've been to Ukraine. I've talked with the prosecutor that they tried to assassinate after they fired him. I've seen the 900,000 go through Luxembourg. I've seen the 900,000 go to a bank account that is controlled personally by Biden. Next thing you know, his YouTube channel got taken down. So we know they're corrupt in Ukraine. So what is it that's going to be such a bang, boom, or bombshell that is going to damage Biden that badly? What could it be? And the other thing too is knowing that these things are out there. Is that why they're trying to improve or put in people's minds about AI so they can say, oh, that's not really Biden's voice, that's AI. That's not really Biden you see on the screen, that's AI. But as we know from the 17th drops, that they can tell. It can be proven whether or not it was created by somebody or it's actually Biden. So, and then, you know, the game you got, I know McCarthy is a rhino that is either reformed or being directed down a path. Because McCarthy is, he had several meetings with Trump in Mar-a-Lago, private, AKA secret meetings with Trump. He's not involved in any of the ones being charged. He goes on Maria Bartiromo's show and he says, in a very rational, non-aggressive way, gee, you know, all this stuff is coming out and we're trying to get everybody to explain it to us, and they won't explain it to us. So I guess, you know, they're making us, we're going to have to do an impeachment inquiry. And, you know, some of the hotheads in the room, and not, I don't mean that mean, I mean, people have had a belly full of this stuff. They say, forget an impeachment inquiry. We want him impeached now. Well, I've said the counter argument to that is don't let Biden off the hook. Keep him on the hot seat. Keep the Democrats having this, excuse me, turd as their symbol of their whole being. Okay? He's their problem, number one. Number two, you go straight to impeachment before an impeachment inquiry, you're going to preclude yourself from bringing in, you're not going to have the leisure and the luxury of going through as much evidence as you can to show the world. And you can control the timing of the inquiry. So when something happens like Mr. T's mugshot, that the impeachment inquiry does not overshadow it. If Trump wants something to happen that's going to roll into the weekend where all everybody is talking about all weekend long is what Trump wants them to talk about, like this mugshot business, you don't want Joe Biden's problems getting in the way. You got to be able to be conductor and conduct this orchestra to where public perception gets fed the truths and the information that they need to make rational decisions, and not let a sensationalist and fraudulent news services bypass your message. Am I making sense to you guys? Lone Wolf, an impeachment is to go on a very fast track. The Senate cannot, the Congress is frozen during impeachment. They can't conduct any other business. Okay. With an inquiry, Congress can continue to function. They can do an impeachment inquiry on Joe Biden at the same time. They can conduct investigations like Grassley is doing in the Senate, like Jim Jordan's doing in the House. But if you go to an impeachment, a formal impeachment, everybody's frozen. Okay. All right. Hi, Araceli. Mr. T to headline 100K per plate at Bedminster for Rudy Giuliani. Okay, good. I am making sense. That's good to hear. I need some encouragement. Hi, Polly Wanda. How are you doing? So yeah, this is so well thought out, and Kevin McCarthy is not playing a role that will turn the Lincoln whatever project Republicans away from him, and won't turn reasonable Democrats away from him. He's playing the, gee, I'm doing, what other choice are they giving me? I guess we got to do an inquiry. We can't get answers. We want to know about this $10 million, but, so I guess we're just going to have to do that, so, but it's a smart way to do it. Now they're picking on Rudy's drinking. Why is Potato going to Alaska? I don't know. I hope that's where he ends up staying. Because remember I told you that Devin Nunes kept putting something out about the Azores, and we all know about Cuba, and we all know about that one place at the very tip of Argentina. And so maybe they got something up in Alaska, and that's part of his, part of his penance and why he spends so much time on the beach. You better get your sunshine while you can, because remember your plea deal. You had to walk around and act like a moron and set your friends up and stuff, and that way you could live out the rest of your ghastly life in Alaska. Maybe that was it. I'm just, freewheeling in my mind. I don't know that to be the case. But that's where I'd put him if I'd put him, close to Russia and freezing his backside off. And try to get away, Joe. You're 85 years old. It's a minus 20 out. Yeah, he's had plenty of time at his brother's property on the island next to Jeffrey Epstein's, and his time up in Rehoboth Beach. Yeah, and Mitch McConnell freezing up again. Yeah, I saw that. I'm not saying he's playing a role, but who knows? Because their time's going to be up soon. It's going to be time up, game over. So, the fact that he doesn't step down. And Clandestine put out a picture, flashback, December 2015. And for those of you who've been with me since my first channel, I put out some clips from RT News, Russian television. And I've had people in the comments and in the chats saying, that's propaganda, that's this and that. And I said, I think RT News is great. I put up their stuff. But anyway, I lost that channel. But, and I still put up clips from RT News. But this is a picture of Flynn attending a 10-year anniversary gala for Russian media outlet RT. And Flynn sat right next to Putin. And I got the picture. I'm looking at it right here. Flynn sitting next to Putin in 2015. You never heard the media talking about that. They just talked about when he spoke to an ambassador to Russia. Didn't say nothing about him sitting next to Putin. Wonder why? Well, Clandestine goes on to say, given what we know about Ukraine and Russia's allegations of U.S. bioweapons production, you can see why Obama was so afraid. Flynn knows. So Flynn was sitting right next to the man himself. And then that was in 2015. And shortly thereafter at the Minsk, when Trump went to, was it Minsk? Where did he have the press conference and got the soccer ball from Putin? So, yeah, all that stuff, a normal news agency would be going, wait a minute, let's put 2 and 2 together. That makes 4, instead of talking about every crazy bit of crap they can to throw these confetti up about Trump. Talk about the real stuff that Russia's putting out at the UN about laboratories in Ukraine. Tucker claims Obama's S3 actual history became clear in 2008 and says ex-POTUS smoked crack. And, of course, the news agencies didn't say a word about it. Why? This is Diamond and Silk saying, why didn't we get any reports on Barack Obama's use of crack and gay S3X experiences? Do you think that might have had an effect on the campaign, on who people decided to elect back then? Let's see, folks. Well, I've gone over an hour. Let me see what's going on in the chats. I hope I didn't miss anything. But, I'm thinking about it. I agree to a big extent that you really can't, you got to look at all these Republicans with a side eye, and believe me, I looked at the Vivek with a side eye, but if he's a bad guy, he's not a good, he doesn't play a bad guy very good, because he certainly stomped all over the rhinos and the New World Order and the alphabet community agenda, Vivek. And I'm not saying he's going to upset Mr. T's apple cart in any way, but he is expanding the Republican base, the true Republican base. They're bringing in a lot of people from India, the Middle East, minorities that would have never looked at the Republican Party are looking at this sharp-minded young guy. That's, they know where he's coming from and they trust him more. And, hey, it's going to give them the courage to be conservative also and stand up for their conservative values. But, I agree, we have to be cautious and not throw a ton of trust into certain people. We got to, because people can turn around and backstab you. But Polly Wanda, Trump's angry rants will cause him to lose voters. I don't believe so. He's not having angry rants. Polly Wanda, check out on YouTube. Forbes plays his 2-minute 1 minute, 2 minute statements, and they're not angry. They're uh, firm. I mean, they're what you expect from somebody who is dealing with criminality, and you have to be firm and you have to be stern. That's the word I'm looking for. STERN, stern. He's saying we're going to get out of this Marxist, communist influences in our government. I just had somebody follow me on Truth Social. Hi, Roy. How are you doing? Roy, you missed my rant about Vivek. I might have got a couple of yeah, I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. You're right, Marla. Oh, boy, that was good. Polly, no, I didn't say you're a troll. But you feel like you're telling the truth, Polly, but you got to watch. Did you watch his mini speeches, 1 and 2 minute speeches, and you say they're angry rants? Come on, we're dealing with communists, we're dealing with Marxists, and they are vicious. They're trying to put Mr. T in jail for 700 years. So, yeah, I think he can be a little stern. We're pretty PO'd too. We're very angry. We're very angry, but we're handling it well, aren't we, folks? Polly, you're not voting for Trump, then why would you care what Trump says? Because, and I'm going to gently say this to you, Polly, because, you know, Polly's not using any language that's objectionable or anything, but Trump is the only one who's going to put a stop to teachers taking 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds aside and asking them about their S3 actuality, which should be a criminal act. He's the only one that's going to close the borders and prevent criminal illegals from coming in the country. And he's going to stop the war in Ukraine, stop people from losing lives. He's going to prevent World War III. He's the only one who's going to stop human trafficking, the fentanyl coming across the borders. Viktor Orban, the president of Hungary, said, call back Trump. I thought that was interesting words he used. Call back Trump. What is Congress going to call him back? Recruit him? It may not be a question of who's going to vote for what. So, Polly, for someone who has been libeled and slandered and lied about, I think he's behaving very nicely. I would have had them all locked up. I'm like a lot of people are in the chats, especially 2 years ago, to just throw these people in jail that stole the election. It's going to come clear that the election was stolen in 2020. And as I've said in my earlier conversations, Polly, who do you want to handle Kim Jong-un and Putin? Mr. Rogers, somebody like Mr. Rogers, who's not going to get anywhere and get his ASS kicked and our ASS kicked? Or do you want somebody who means business like Trump and understands business? So I'm sorry, but that's part of what my thumbnail says. What a fool believes. You want to vote for somebody younger. What a fool believes. The wise man has the power. You vote for somebody younger. Well, You want to vote for Grasshopper when the master's standing right there? Yeah, there have been crimes committed against Trump and this country. And people have been having a image of Trump drilled in their heads by a fraudulent communist Marxist influenced media to have an instinctual hate for Trump. We call that TDS, when he is clearly the only one, because this country is going to be facing war. Polly Wanda says Trump is in deep in legal trouble. It will never end. Trump has too much baggage. So long, Trump. Well, I can tell you, Polly Wanda, I've listened to my past broadcasts. We have two systems of justice, okay? Two systems of justice, civilian and military. Trump, as commander-in-chief, he was maligned. There was a illegal psychological warfare campaign ran against his administration during a time of war against an invisible enemy. So there's a whole new set of rules, and I think what's being rooted out. I want you to stay with us, Palawanda. You know, when there are more truths coming out, Trump is not worried at any of these phony charges. A lot of these judges are going to be exposed and probably end up in some legal trouble themselves. Some may be in the civilian realm. Some may be facing tribunals or some manner of military justice, because they are screwing around with the commander-in-chief. Polly Wanda says, see you all later. Okay, well, hope so. Stick with it. Because like my title in my thumbnail, what a fool believes. If anybody believes that these clowns and some of these judges that are breaking the black letter of the law to go after Trump are going to get away with it, they're not going to get away with any of it. That goes for judges, lawyers, legislators, governors. Don't forget, Lincoln dissolved state legislatures. Gone. Their names aren't even remembered in the history books. Okay? Lincoln shut down hundreds of newspapers. So, hey, he was our hero, right? He still is our hero. And that's going to happen again. You get these Adam Kissingers, you get this Jerry Nadler, and all these types. Hey, they're going to be out of here. Ryko in a military court, Jerry Lee says. That's exactly right. They're the racketeers. They're the criminals, and the tables are going to be turned on them. Trump's a meanie. Well, how can you be a nice guy when you have been browbeat for years? So anyway, folks, maybe Polly will come back. Yeah, wait till the military commission is on. Ha ha ha, crazy Cajun lady. Oh, crazy Cajun lady. It's okay, Miss Mendersu. We had a good conversation with the trolls, right? We got to say, I don't think she was a troll. She's just trying to produce sense. And hey, you got to remember this, millions of people who have been professionally brainwashed through this illegal psychological warfare campaign. So we got to unbrainwash them. And the best way to do it is to do what we were doing tonight. We talk to them in a reasonable way. We're not crazy radical MAGA people. And Trump has every right to be stern after the way he's been treated and after the way this country's been treated. All right, folks, I appreciate you all spending your precious time with me. And I hope that I wasn't too bristled up at the beginning and in the middle of the program and didn't make anybody unhappy, because we are on a roll, folks. We're like butter. We're on a roll. Mr. T is getting things lined up. He's teeing up his little 1 and 2 minute speeches. For the first time in history, you have a leader of a country, in this case it's the US of A, who can talk personally daily to the world. Never has this ever happened. And he putting out stuff every day, so tune in. And even if you think it's going to be a boring 1 minute or a boring 2 minutes, you don't know what he's going to come up with. And you're going to be able to tell what Agenda 47 is for people like Polly and other people in your lives, friends and family, or strangers you may bump into and make a friend with. You never know. So, okay, folks, thank you all. Appreciate you spending your precious time with me. And you all have a great evening. Maybe I'll broadcast Saturday, because that's a kind of a slow night for people broadcasting. I don't know. Maybe no broadcast tomorrow, and we'll come back up Saturday. What do you think? If you're not subscribed, subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you'll know when I decide to go live. And I'll give everybody shout outs. Ha ha. Y'all have a great night. This is Mountain Man, over and out.